be talking to you today about buying versus renting. It's a great subject to talk about. It's a good time to buy a new home, and so we thought we'd give you the pros and cons. And Jamie, you've done a lot of research, so I'm going to let you take it from the top here.
So really, it kind of depends on where you're at in your situation. If you're ready to buy a home, if you're not, then you're going to want to look at renting. So some of the first things a lot of people look at when renting is they know that they're going to have their first month's rent and a security deposit up front. If you have a pet, you're going to have a pet deposit. Then if you look at the other side, if you're buying a home, you don't have to worry about a first month's rent. You don't have to worry about a pet deposit, but you have to worry about closing costs.
And down payments.
And a down payment. So, in a situation of renting a home, it could cost you roughly $3,000 to $4,000 to get in that first month. Where buying a home, it could cost you $20,000 to $40,000 to $50,000 depending on the price of your home and your down payment. So that's where it can be a little more difficult for some people, and they may choose to rent for a few years before they get to that point of buying. But as we all know, there's pros and cons to both. Whenever you're renting, you really can't make a lot of choices in your home. If you want to change maybe the paint color in one of the bedrooms, that would be the owner's decision. Where if you own your own home, you can make those decisions. Some rentals don't allow our furry little friends, which is disappointing, where if you own your own home, that's your decision. Then you've got other things too. With renting, you typically don't have to worry about maintenance as long as you're not the one that caused that maintenance issue. But you also don't have tax deductions at the end of the year because you don't own the home.
So what she's talking about there is you get tax credits on your income tax. Depending upon the tax bracket you're in, you're able to deduct the interest that you've paid on your home, or at least a portion of it, again, depending upon what tax bracket you're in. They're talking about buying a home too. There's lots of different loan programs out there, and you could get in really for as little as $8,000 or $9,000, maybe even $10,000 if you're going FHA, depending upon the price point that you're in. Total closing cost with an FHA loan is about 8 to 8.5%. That's move-in, down payment, and everything. And then, which might equal to the amount of money you have to put into a rental. Mm-hmm. It could be actually equal or less depending upon the rental type. And if you're a veteran, of course, it's 100% financing, and all you have is the closing costs, and you can ask the seller to pay the closing costs, and in some instances they will, and then you're almost in a zero down. So in those instances with those two type of loans, it would probably be cheaper to get into a home than it would be if you were it would be cheaper to buy than it would be to rent.
And then you're also saving that money. It's going towards an investment where if you're renting, let's say your rent is $2,000 a month, you're paying someone $24,000 a year to cover their mortgage and for them to get their tax credits where you're getting nothing in return other than the rental. You're not getting the credit or the investment for it. So it's really, like we were saying, it just depends on where you're at in your situation. If you need to be in a rental because you can't afford the down payment or you don't have the benefits to get
maybe you don't
less
have
expensive.
the income. Mm-hmm. Maybe you don't have the income, or maybe you have credit problems. Those things could play into it too. But we always think it's better to buy, of course.
Right, absolutely.
But as Jamie said, you're paying someone else. You're helping them buy their investment because you're making their payments. So you're not investing in your future when you're renting. You're investing in someone else's future. So it's always good to, as we said, to buy versus rent. And you just need to maybe set an appointment with us to come in and see if you're in a position where you can buy now versus rent. And we can help you figure all that stuff out. Another thing to consider too, we always tell our clients we think it's best to be in your home some 3 to 5 years. So if you're just here for a year or two, then maybe it's not good for you to buy, unless you want to buy as an investment and keep it, after you leave. So is there anything else that you can think of that we haven't covered? So the big advantages is if you buy, you get to have you're investing in your future.
You get to make decisions in the house if you want to make changes.
Yep, you get to replace the carpet, do anything you want to do in the yard, so you're not as restricted as if you are renting. But then, you know, if you are buying, then you're responsible for all the maintenance too. So but hopefully there's lots of inspections done and you know what you're getting into, and hopefully anything major would be taken care of during
And
the
a home warranty would be helpful.
Yeah, yeah.
When you buy your house, the home warranty would cover a lot of that. Let's see.
So bottom line, as Jamie said, it's just best to know where you are and your future and your plans and your financial situation. And if you're wondering, could you buy, then it's great to come by and sit down and have a consultation with us, and before you get into a lease. And maybe you're going to spend more money on that lease than you would on buying a home in the long run.
Like there's always too, like if you are renting, if the landlord decides, and this has happened to even some of my people that I know that have rented, the landlord decides they don't want to lease a property anymore, they want to sell it, and then those clients are forced to have to move out and find either a new rental, or then maybe they can buy a home at that time. So that's another, unfortunately,
So you may be
con
kicked out.
to rental. Yeah, that is a con to the rental. So as a renter, let's just say that you're paying, you know, $2,000 a month in rent. More than likely, if you're able to buy a home that is similar to the home that you're currently renting, your mortgage is going to be less than that, because the person that owns that home, your landlord, their ultimate goal is they're an investor. They're there to make a profit. You're not paying them exactly what their mortgage is. So if you can afford $2,000 a month for this beautiful home, more than likely your mortgage will be less than that, and it's something you can afford.
Yes, and in most instances, especially with interest rates as low as they are right now, the same house would cost you less on a monthly basis. Not even taking into consideration the tax credits you would receive at the end of the year.
And it'd be yours.
That's right.
So
That's right. Pretty much covered it. Call us if you have any questions, and we'd love to visit with you about your place in your financial future as to whether or not you can buy or maybe need to rent a little bit longer. Thank you.
have a good day.